The art of assertiveness. How to speak your mind without sounding like a jerk. Ever walked away from a meeting replaying what you wish you had said? Or perhaps you've stayed silent only to resent the outcome later. If so, you're not alone. Research suggests that a staggering 55% of people feel they have missed out on career opportunities because they failed to be assertive. Many of us walk a tightrope, balancing the desire to be liked with the need to have our voices heard. We are often taught that being nice means accommodating others, sometimes at our own expense. This internal conflict can lead to a gnawing dissatisfaction, the fear of being labeled difficult, and the frustration of unspoken needs. The cost of silence extends beyond missed promotions. It can breed resentment, create stress when our boundaries are crossed, and slowly erode our self-esteem. When we consistently suppress our needs, a hallmark of passive communication, we might say yes on the outside, while our inner voice is screaming no. This internal dissonance builds a quiet frustration that can eventually boil over. At the heart of this struggle is a common misunderstanding, confusing assertiveness with aggression. We often picture an assertive person as loud, demanding, and overbearing. However, true assertiveness is the healthy and respectful middle ground. While aggression steamrolls others and damages relationships, and passivity leaves our own needs unmet, assertiveness allows for clear, confident, and respectful communication that honors both ourselves and others. Many people find themselves oscillating between these two extremes, remaining passive till frustration erupts into aggression, only to retreat into passive guilt. This exhausting cycle is ultimately ineffective. The good news is that assertiveness is not an innate trait, but a skill that anyone can learn. Defining true assertiveness, the secret to effective communication isn't a magic trick. It's a deep understanding of what assertiveness truly is and what it is not. Assertiveness is the practice of sharing your thoughts, feelings, needs, and boundaries in a manner that is open, honest, direct, and respectful. It means standing up for your own rights while simultaneously respecting the rights of others. The goal is not to win or dominate a conversation, but to foster mutual respect and understanding. Here's a breakdown of the key differences in communication styles. Passive. This style avoids expressing one's feelings or needs, often prioritizing others to the detriment of oneself. The underlying message is your needs matter more than mine. Aggressive. This style expresses needs and desires without regard for the rights and feelings of others. The underlying message is, my needs are more important than yours. Assertive. This is the balanced approach. Clearly states your needs while also acknowledging the needs of the other person. The message is, my needs are important, and so are yours. Let's communicate respectfully. It's crucial to understand that assertiveness is not about controlling other people's actions. You can make a request, but the other person has the right to decide how to respond. The power of assertiveness lies in expressing yourself authentically and clearly. This requires a fundamental mindset shift. View interactions not as win or lose battles, but as opportunities for clear and respectful dialogue. Practical tactics for assertive communication developing. Assertiveness requires a toolkit of practical strategies that go beyond mere words. Control your tone and body language. Your nonverbal cues often speak louder than your words. Maintain a calm, steady tone of voice, avoiding sarcasm or an aggressive pitch. Establish confident eye contact, and keep your posture open and relaxed. Respond, don't react. When you feel triggered, take a moment to pause and breathe. This simple act creates the space needed to choose a thoughtful, assertive response, rather than an emotional, reactive outburst. Be direct, but respectful. State your needs and opinions clearly and concisely, without apology or aggression. Instead of resorting to inflammatory language like, "That's a stupid idea," try a more respectful approach. "I see that point differently." Practice active listening. Show a genuine interest in the other person's perspective. Summarize what you hear them saying and ask clarifying questions. When people feel heard and understood, they become far more receptive to your point of view. Use empathic assertion. Acknowledge the other person's position or feelings before stating your own needs. For example, "I understand that you're very busy with that project, and I need to take a moment to discuss my upcoming deadline." Consider escalating assertion. If your initial, softer attempts at being assertive are ignored, you may need to calmly but firmly restate your needs. If necessary, you can outline the natural consequences if your boundaries continue to be disregarded, all while maintaining a respectful demeanor. Mastering the I statement. The I statement is one of the most powerful and fundamental tools in your assertiveness arsenal. It allows you to frame your feelings and needs from your own perspective, which minimizes blame and encourages a more constructive conversation. Why I statements work. They reduce feelings of blame and accusation. They demonstrate that you are taking ownership of your feelings. They are difficult to argue with, as they are statements of your personal experience. They model a respectful and open form of communication. A well-formed I statement follows this structure. I feel your emotion, when a specific objective behavior occurs because the impact it has on you. I would like a specific, actionable request. Examples in action. A coworker constantly interrupts. Instead of, "You're so rude, you always cut me off," try, "I feel frustrated when I am interrupted mid-sentence because I lose my train of thought. I would appreciate it if I could finish my point before we move on to feedback." Uneven household chores. Instead of, "You never do anything to help around here," try, "I feel overwhelmed when the household tasks we agreed upon aren't completed, because it creates more work for me. I would like for us to stick to the chore schedule we created. Friend frequently cancels plans." Instead of, "You're so unreliable," try, "I feel disappointed when our plans are canceled at the last minute, because I often rearrange my schedule to make time for us. In the future, I would appreciate as much notice as possible if you think you need to make a change." When delivering an I statement, your tone and body language are just as important as your words. A calm and sincere delivery will ensure your message is received as intended. Putting assertiveness into practice. Understanding the theory is the first step, but putting it into practice is where real change happens. Here's how to start. Start small. Don't attempt to tackle your most challenging relationship right away. Begin by practicing assertiveness in low-stakes situations. This could be as simple as politely declining an extra task you don't have time for, or clearly stating your preference at a restaurant. Accept that it takes practice. Assertiveness is a skill that, like any other, requires repetition. You will inevitably slip into old communication habits at times. When this happens, reflect on the situation without judgment and commit to trying again. Remember, the goal is respect, not winning. Assertiveness does not guarantee that you will always get your way. The true goal is to express yourself authentically and respectfully. You cannot control how others will react, but you can always control your own actions. Watch for common mistakes. Be mindful of the fine line between assertiveness and aggression. Avoid over-apologizing for your needs. Finally, ensure your nonverbal cues align with your assertive words. Develop self-awareness. Pay close attention to how your communication is perceived by others. If you have trusted friends or colleagues, ask for their honest feedback. Recognizing your personal triggers and typical reaction patterns is the first step toward changing them. Conclusion: the secret to assertiveness is not a secret at all, but rather a set of learnable skills that empower you to express your needs clearly and respectfully. By managing your tone and body language, using powerful I statements, and practicing in everyday situations, you can master the art of assertive communication. Assertiveness is about valuing your own voice as much as you value the voices of others. It is a commitment to being direct, honest, and respectful in all of your interactions. Your challenge for this week? Find one small, low-stakes situation where you can practice using an I statement. Pay attention to how it feels to speak your mind clearly and observe the response you receive. This journey of self-empowerment will not only improve your confidence, but will also help you build healthier, more honest, and more fulfilling relationships, one conversation at a time.